There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, for they are forever entwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers, or people said to be able to talk to the dead. We all have our belief systems and we all have our own truths. So come sit with Holly Jenkins and myself as we talk about all that and more. Welcome to Spiritually Paranormal.
Here we are.
Yeah.
I was just telling Bear about a dream I had last week that was so confusing, but yet shined some light on an area that I've been having issues with since April.
Yeah, we're in Mercury retrograde. Thanks, Raylan. I appreciate you reminding everybody. Hi, Cookie. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Crystal Pearl. How are you?
Where's Tada at?
I don't know.
Ruth is such a slacker. What are we going to do with her?
She's actually been working with her son because he's had to go to physical therapy. So she's like running like crazy right now. So I never know where she is, and I just don't, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want to bug her too much. And
well, that Raylan talking about Mercury retrograde, and yeah, that's starting today.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time for it, and it's from now to the end of the year. January 1st, it goes direct, so we're good. It's only a very short retrograde, so we can be thankful for that at least. But it's the perfect time to really assess how your year has gone. Has it gone the way you wanted it to go? And I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, but really, I want you to really think about in all areas of your life. I'm sure there's some areas that are probably lining up. Maybe not where you want it to be, but it's lining up to get there. So don't just blow it all off to say, oh, it's a shitty year. I'm nowhere where I want to be. You're on your way to where you want to be. Think about it that way. So
with all the stuff that a lot of people have gone through, and I didn't have a banner year as far as being all full of happy, joy, all that kind of stuff.
No, me neither.
But I do appreciate, and it's funny that you're bringing this up because I appreciate how I came through it to get to right now. And my daughter Tay and I were talking about it over this last week, and I was telling her kind of the same thing. You can't look at it as bad things really, because we learn things from it, and I think we're better off because we did get through it all okay. It's same with you, with whatever we went through. It just kind of adds to those life experiences.
Oh, let's just give a little quick for instance. Like my 2 years after I left Remax, because Remax closed, not Remax all, but the Remax I was at disappeared. She closed her doors and a new company bought it. So, and I didn't feel I was in the right place at the other company. They were going to hire me on, but I wasn't comfortable. So I jumped careers from real estate to mortgage. And those 2 years in mortgage were terrible, terrible. I went from being in a company that had 300 agents and always in front of those 300 agents and always, every month we went to every office and we had these big presentations and training courses all month long, to being in an office building completely alone by myself, behind locked doors, isolated. Nobody was speaking to me. I wasn't even seeing anybody. And then at the end of the year, I was scrambling trying to find another job because I couldn't do that anymore. That wasn't going to do what I needed it to do. And I interviewed for this job. And then an interview I had before this job got back to me after I had taken this job, but I hadn't started yet. And it was more opportunities with the other job. Right. And more pay and benefits. So I felt like I had to take the other one only because that was going to serve my financial needs better.
Correct.
But they dicked me around for 2 months. And here was what I was in January with still no job and no start date. So then I called the guys back here and, please tell me you haven't hired anybody yet. And they hadn't. So I got to come here like the second week of January. Thank goodness for that. But then having this job and finding out that I related to the people here, I'm still in the office completely alone by myself, but it's given me that time to write the books and do all all of that. And the 2 years at the mortgage company, I think, prepared me for being alone here.
Yeah.
All year long, I kept questioning, what was that 2 years about? What was that 2 years about? And just the other day, I was like, hello. It was preparing me to be able to be in a place completely alone by myself.
Well, and look how creative this has been, a great creative time for you. And you've been able to do so much that way.
Yeah.
And, it's really kind of crazy when we really stop and think, even being in the hospital when I busted my leg up, there was purpose in that. And it kind of turned me to be the way I needed to go. And now I'm just kind of wrapping up again because it all started just prior to Christmas, that whole roll again. So I think we all learned something from that. And like you said, you're more aware of it now and it prepared you for something else. And I just think that's huge. Do a rundown here. Who's here? Crystal Pearl's here. Cindy Pinkham. Cookie's here. Hi, Jess. How are you? Who else? I saw somebody else. Vic. Hi, Vic. How are you? I hope you're well. Margaret, Raylan. I think that's it. They're just writing. Okay. So.
But yeah, I mean, there were a lot of negatives and things that, were like just so disturbing. Just where I felt at home at Remax, I felt like I had found my groove, my place. Yeah. And then that was gone. Suddenly it just disappeared. And then it was just confusion and chaos and stress after that up until I got this job. And then getting this job was like a breath of fresh air.
Don't you feel it's kind of like, if I look back, I always tell people I have like ADHD of careers, like from when I started working as a kid, like I'd stay there 5 to 7 years at every place. But once it became ritual, like I didn't even have to think about it, I would time to leave because I need something to stimulate
something to help you grow.
You get kind of complacent, and you're used, boy, you guys are loud today. Complacent with stuff. And I think that's why we do that. But I will say that you have two minds, right? There's the engineer, scientific people, right? That math people that think like that. And then there's the art, creative people, writers, artists, musicians, and that's another side. And it's not saying that you can't have both, but really, if we look at ourselves truthfully, you usually fall on one side or the other of that comparison, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel that, and especially we've known each other for a long time, but it's like when we get to that point where we're complacent or bored or whatever, and we start wondering, okay, what do I need to do next? It's like they pick us up from where we're at and shake us and throw us like dice on a Monopoly board.
Yeah.
Say, okay, time to start over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that we may not ask for it to be that way. Obviously, it's stressful, but I do think that that's why we're here.
Yeah. Rellin says Remax worked me to death using my creativity. And yeah, they did. They just, every day it was all about Remax, and the agents and catering to them and giving to them as much as I could possibly give them, that, like sucking it out of me. And coming here, they don't need me to be creative. That's not my job to be creative here. So I can be creative for myself, which is like the ultimate gift, really.
It is. It truly is. I don't want to say this really loud because I don't want them to kind of dump on me, but this past kind of sort of week that I've been going, I'm sort of, ooh, do I say it? I'm sort of bored.
Oh,
see, I told you.
That's the end of it. That's the end of your boredom right there.
I have been like, I get up, I'm feeling all right. I walk around and like, do I want it? Nah, not really. Do you want it? Nah, not really. I don't even have the TV. I mean, so I was like, okay.
I've got a project for you. No, it's my project. I want to do this project so bad. I saw someone on TikTok to do one, I guess a rendition of something that I've had in my mind to do. I don't know if you remember when I did the fairy trees on a canvas, and it's the trunk of a tree, and it had an actual little door that opened, and then there was the fairy inside.
Yep.
It's similar to that as far as 3D, but I want to do, my trees that I do that have the hidden images in the branches. I want to do that, but I want to do the tree kind of 3D, raised paint.
Right.
And have the hidden images in the branches. And I know how I got to do it. I just need to gather my supplies and sit myself down in a space and do it.
Raised paint. Well, you use acrylic, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I use oil, but I do the raised thing. Mine are all very textured when I channel. Which, by the way, I was told, yeah, you're done painting for a while. Now we're going to work again with the clay. So I'm going to be making spirit walkers again, but I'm not quite there yet. And I'm going to be starting to do morning blessings again after the first of the year, but it's going to be an audio. It'll be from my website. And so, I mean, I'm getting those things in order, right? I'm getting the mechanics of it. I'm doing a lot of writing for it. I'm, getting that kind of stuff. But then we go back to what you were saying about dreams, right? People have been really asking me and messaging me in my inbox saying, hey, I had this really freaky dream. What do you think it means? And, then the other half of them are writing like, we're seeing our loved ones that have passed in our dream state. And I think because the holidays bring back a bunch of nostalgia, and people that aren't really open to that, even though they say, I'd really like a sign of my dad or my grandfather or whatever, right? Or my spouse. They're not open to it the rest of the year because we're busy with life. But right now, because of I think the things that are going on and more people, like we've talked about, are starting to awaken. People have to understand that our loved ones, they like the holidays too, right? So that's kind of their opening to basically come in and say, hey, we're here. We love you. We're watching over you. We're still part of who you are. And I think that's so important right now. Take advantage of that, because I've had so many people say, a client says, I had my sibling came in my dream that passed away a great number of years ago, and they were happy and they were in this, telling me and they go, what does that mean? I go, it means they love you. They're coming in to say, hey, look, I'm whole, I'm healthy, my energy's great, and I'm still around you. So people need to remember, especially at this time, all year, but especially at this time, because I think, maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? I think spirit actually makes a bigger effort to reach out to us during the holidays.
But you have to be open to receiving that energy and that message. And it's all about receiving the energy. It's an exchange of energy between you and the spirit realm. Going back to that dream, I'm not going to go through the whole dream, but I think what it was doing is it was telling me that I will be doing that again. I will be doing those messages again, maybe differently. I don't know, but it's coming. I think that dream was preparing me to do something different with my messages and back to doing the videos. And I just don't know how it's going to come to be yet, but we'll see.
I'll tell you what I feel they're going to push you to do.
Hey, did you get my card?
I actually did.
Oh,
And it's
good.
actually right here. And I left it here by my table because I got it. Of course, I haven't sent anything out, but
That's okay. Freaking stamps are 66 cents
Oh,
now. It's
I don't care.
ridiculous.
That's still the cheapest way to send something to somebody. I don't have a problem with that. I just can't get out to do anything. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay. But
Well,
yeah,
I don't send out nearly as many as I used to. I used to send out over 100. I can't. I can't afford that now.
It depends on what kind of mood I get in. If I get up that morning and say, oh, I'm going to write a bunch of cards, I'll do it. And it's kind of like getting gifts and stuff right now at the holiday. Like I told my kids, you're grown adults. You buy what you want. I'm not buying gifts. I can't afford it right now anyway. And I buy for them and do things for them and other people too that are close to me all during the year. So to me, the holiday for me is what it's supposed to be. It's about family and sharing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say about you with, having people all around you and you're giving messages, I think that's what you're going to be doing more so than the videos. I think you're going to be called to do more reading. And recently,
to be physically around people in some sort of way. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see.
But I think I really think that's what's being pushed, because I actually put something out to the universe 2 weeks ago. And like a week after it went out, I had actually not really focused on it anymore because it was during some meditation and stuff, and I put it out there. Well, I got a really loud answer, and I said that, hey, I don't know if I should do this. I'm not really sure. She says, Mom, you're going to do it because I know you and you're just going to do it. And I'm like, yeah. And it was something really good that would kind of put me to a different place. But at the same time, it's adding more responsibility. I said, and then I thought, and I said to Taylor, and I actually said to my friend Lynn yesterday, I actually don't have a choice because I asked.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You can't.
If you ask, you're going to get what you ask for. That's why you have to be so careful.
And when you put it out there, that's it. We can't, we can't, like, it's kind of, Cinnamon Moon told me this one time. She actually hung up on me. She called me one time, and this was like going way back, right? This is when Taylor was still in high school. And I had somebody knock on my door. It was in the winter, and they had a big box of food. I mean, all kinds of food, fresh meat, all kinds of food. And I'm like, what the heck, right? And I didn't know the people. They were from town, one of the churches or local areas or whatever. And they says, well, wait, this is for you and Taylor. And I said, what is this? And they said, well, this is for our food drive. And your name was put in for a food drive. And seriously, we were not starving, but we weren't great at that time. That was when I was just starting to build everything up again. And I thanked them. I said, and I even said to them, there may be an elder or a bigger family? And they go, no, this is put aside for you. Don't worry about it. This is for you. So I took it in, and I remember, because we were calling, we talked once a week at that point. And she got on the phone. I told her what happened, and I was like, yeah, it's just kind of weird. And she goes, didn't you ask for assistance? Like, whatever it was at that time. And I said, well,
even
to
say to the universe, help me.
She says, how dare you judge how those blessings come back to you? I said, excuse me? She said, you heard me. Click. And I was like, she just hung up on me. She just told her. But she schooled me, right?
Yeah.
Because we say that all the time. And then when it comes back to us, you don't really think about what we had asked for. It's like, wow, how did this get here? So I have finally reached a point now, I don't question it.
Exactly.
So, like,
that kind of thing.
Holly. Lost me. What the heck was that?
We swapped places. That was weird.
Holy crow.
Hello, Spirit. How you doing?
Yeah.
Look,
real,
and it's
right?
221, which draws my attention to. There it goes, 222.
221 is my address.
Oh,
12.
That's some crazy. It did that to draw our attention to something, and my eyes went straight to the time, and then I watched it click over from 221 to 222.
And when
That's
you said
funny.
221, I'm like, that's my address. It's
So
like,
I think this is an interesting message as well, and I'm so glad I thought to tell you that dream. And when I first started telling you, I was struggling to even remember the dream. Like,
right.
how did it begin? How did it start? I couldn't remember, but I got there. But at the very end of it, this is a message that really stuck with me, and I need to record myself telling it to everybody so I can put it out there. But there was a girl, and I could just see within her how she was longing and looking and searching for something. And she wasn't even quite sure what that was. And as I was on that train and getting ready to leave that group of people, I said to her, it's not a person, a place, or a thing that you're looking for. It's a feeling. There's a feeling you're trying to create within yourself.
Yeah.
And if you stop looking at it as a person, a place, or a thing, you're going to be able to create that feeling that you're looking for. And as I say that, I've got cold chills all over.
And
there's Ruthie Pooh.
But hi, Ruth. Hi, Miss Tada. If we allow it, and it really is sometimes very difficult to allow that because it makes us a little vulnerable, and we have to get over that. And it's taken me a long time, but I honestly can say that's where I'm at right now. I don't question it anymore. It's
Ruth,
like
your number, you need to go look up angel number 223. That's your number.
I talked to you.
Oh, there's the Hawk.
Oh, hey, Hawk. The big, and Chloe, hi. There's a big focus right now on the way Spirit's trying to communicate with us. So remember that when you get up and you've had a dream, you might even want to write it down, like with what Holly is, because once we kind of see it, we kind of forget it. And then when I said, hi, Teresa, how are you? The thing that I told you the other day, because I said I'll tell you about it later, but I had to write it down because I had to remember it. Well, I was wherever I was, and like, Men in Black flash, and it was gone, sort of, but not really. But today, and this was really wild, I had music on and I was sitting in the other room with Phoenix, just kind of chilling, listening to the music. I had my tablet with me and I was checking a few things. And all of a sudden, it was like somebody took a ice pick to my brain and chiseled some stuff out of it.
Was that today?
Yeah.
What time?
Oh, Lord. I don't remember. I didn't look at the time. But what it pulled out
was it around 12 o'clock or so your time?
Yeah, it would have been just a little bit after 12. Because
at that same time today, for no apparent reason whatsoever, I'm not sick. There's nothing wrong with me. I was sitting here at my desk and felt I had to run to the bathroom. I thought I was going to throw up. Oh. I mean, I was like a hair away from feeling like I was going to throw up. And I stood there in the bathroom for a few minutes feeling like, when you get that knot in your throat, feeling like that. And I knew nothing was going to come up. And then it suddenly went away.
Well, what they ice picked from my memories was what happened to me the other day has happened to me 2 other times.
Oh.
And it brought me back to that. And one time I was in a store and I passed out. Like Taylor was in the car and I walked into the store because she didn't want to go in because she was afraid people
I think I remember when that happened to you.
And I passed out like flat. When I woke up, I had people and employees sitting around me and I was like, what the heck just happened? I got up. They go, no. I go, no, I'm good. I don't even know why.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but when I looked to my left, like over my shoulder, I saw myself turning around the other way, looking at me back, like looking back at me. And we both were like,
huh?
What the heck? What the heck? But it was kind of like looking in a mirror. And my reflection was also in a store, not the same store. but it was like long enough. And I think it's because when I had passed out, I was trying to like get up and focus again. And it was like, oh, and then it was gone. And it was like, you weren't supposed to see that. That thought came when that happened to me again the other day. So for all of you, hi Rose, how are you? And Teresa, I see you're here too.
She said it happened to her today too.
Oh, did it?
Around that same time.
So what's going on? Was that
something's going on?
Was maybe
it's where it's like the roots of a tree. We are all connected. You know how tree roots, they connect with all the other trees. You can do something to a tree a mile away and all the other trees will feel it.
Excuse me. I maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But then I had that happen another time when I was out at the other house that we built out on Rumford. I had that same thing happen. I was inside looking at myself on the outside of the house. And so this interdimensional stuff I think is getting woven.
So sorry to hear that, Kay.
Oh, what happened?
A family member passed away.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I'll keep you in healing grace prayers. Okay. Yeah, it's a hard time to do that right now. That's a hard time anytime, but right now it makes it.
It's worse, yeah.
But I really do believe that our dreams are stronger. And like Raylan said, like Matrix type stuff, if that's what you want to label it. But I do think that it's very possible there are other dimensions going on at the same time.
Yeah.
When Tay was still in high school, we were watching Taps, right? The two plumber guys that bring all the, and but they're serious. They don't mess around. They don't fool around. They try to debunk stuff. They're not.
I used to watch it all the time when it first came on.
Well, I don't know, maybe you saw this. Excuse me. Hang on.
They were going to come to our house in Illinois, but when they got back to me, I was already packed up and getting ready to move back to Tennessee.
Well, there was an episode, and they were in a hotel. I can't remember if it was the hotel they used in Dirty Dancing or the hotel that was in The Shining. I can't remember.
The Shining.
Oh, okay. And they recorded stuff, and like people were answering them like in the same room, but a different time period. And it was conscious because, well, who are you? Well, who are you? Well, what year is it there? And they answered like the 1800s or something. And, well, no, we're past that. But it was happening as they were questioning and that side was questioning them. And I'll never forget that because it makes you even more curious. So it's like time and time. Are we multiple places as spiritual beings, or that's kind of trippy? And that's what was going on. That's why I said I kind of like, this was so trippy when it happened to me again the other day. So I don't know what it is, but we definitely need to pay attention when this kind of stuff happens and our loved ones are reaching out or whatever it is. Pay attention.
Whether it's spirit, a loved one, whatever it may be, pay attention. Write it down. One thing you can do, because everybody has their phone pretty much right there next to them at all times. Go on your phone, and if you don't have one on your phone, download a recording app and just record your voice before you get up out of bed. And just tell yourself about your dream before you put your feet on the floor. Because once you put your feet on the ground, it's gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
The majority of it's gone.
Yeah, pretty much. Kind of sort of with me, it's like as soon as I open my eyes to focus on other things. So if I kind of wake up and there's something that I was supposed to remember, I usually keep my eyes shut. And it kind of keeps your brain where it is so you can kind of go over what was shared with you. And I found that's really handy as well. Because if I open my eyes and I focus on something, it's quick, it's gone.
Right. Well, immediately in the dream, I knew that the male figure in the dream was just a placeholder. It was just a symbology. It wasn't a real, tangible person. It was just showing me being in an unfamiliar place, being somewhere I haven't been before. And it doesn't necessarily mean a physical place. It could
Right.
be a mindset, or just in a different aspect or period of my life that I haven't experienced yet.
My little angel. It just came swooping in. Crystal Pearl.
Oh yeah, that the Lake House movie, that was like two different timelines merging together, going on at the same time. That's a perfect example.
Yeah, that was there were a couple of them. That one was Sandra Bullock, and then there was the one with Christopher Reeves and James Seymour from way
Yeah,
back.
that one. That's the one I watched not too long ago, remember?
That was up in Mackinac, Michigan. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mackinac Island. So yeah,
Oh my God, I looked up at how much it costs to stay there just for a night. Dear Lord, you have to be loaded just to spend the night.
Well, if you go over, I've been over there a few times because we took the kids and stuff. We never stayed. We came back over on the other side of it. But we did get trapped there one day because the storms kicked up out of nowhere, and it was just me, and thank God the kids weren't with us because it would have costed a fortune. We just went bar to bar, restaurant to restaurant, and I mean, we couldn't have afforded to stay there. I mean,
heck no. I mean, it was like around $1,000 or more.
Easy.
More. It was. I was like, what? And I looked at Robert and I said, guess where we're not staying.
Well, you can always come here. We're 2 hours away from that.
Yeah.
You can always come here. But I'll tell you, the island, I mean, it's magical for a lot of people. And mostly it's the kids. It's the memories that they make. Adults are like, we went over there because there was a powwow over there. And we actually got to get there before with a lot of elders. So they did pipe ceremony and things before the public were there, which was great. But you need to like the smell of manure, and you have to love the smell of chocolate and sweets because they make fudge. But when it's mixed, it's very pungent. Well, we had 12 horses, so the manure really didn't bother me much.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the sweet, it's like bad. I mean, it's really, because they've got all these fudge shops. They've got probably 50 fudge shops, 2 doors around for each other. But Mackinac is, yeah, I know who it is, Margaret. I know that's you. But it's kind of one of those things that you can experience. I mean, it's really nice to just go there at one time. But like I said,
we love things that have a history, a story behind them, So we thought, oh, that would be a nice place to visit someday.
Well, you're always welcome to do it.
Like visit, but not staying the night. Not in that place.
Like I said, it's two hours away from where I am now.
Well, we'll be crashing in on you.
Yeah, that would be fine.
You'll get a knock at the door.
Yeah, that's fine. Door's always open. But yeah, it's I'll
be bringing the fairy friends with me. Did you see how that went to laughter to nothing? Come on. They follow me everywhere. They're coming.
And you'll be pitching a tent out on by the lake. Sleeping in the tent.
Ruth, are you hearing all this nonsense?
Yeah, she's been here. She knows. Well,
as soon as I'm able to take more than a day or two off, we would. Yeah. I can't wait to have a road trip. But right now, it's so difficult to go anywhere because we have the boys.
Yeah.
And Michaela works weekends, so we are just kind of stuck.
Yeah, well, I
grounded.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. Indian River is up north from me a little bit. It's an amazing. They have a and because I don't remember the name, right? Because I forgot. But there's it's where there's actually a big native culture there, and they have the outside. What's her name? It's a Indian woman. Oh, it's outside, and then it's with the biggest cross as well as on that same property it's an amazing inspiring space. You can feel the energy from it. There's a lot to see in Michigan. It is. I've seen it, so I have no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just am not. But yeah, so dreams and everything, sometimes I wish that when we see all these spirits and they visit us and they screw around with us and try to make us laugh or agitate us, I'm like, if you've got the energy to do that, I got a mop and a bucket in the other room, and I'd love for you to help me with that. You really come through and help me with that. I would greatly appreciate that. Mango, you need to get off that painting. Thank you, little brat. St. Francis painting, and he likes to sit on it.
That's funny.
It's the only painting he'll sit on. Oh, and now he's up on the carousel. He's on the ceiling lamp, so he makes it go. Look. See his little head?
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes it turn. He thinks he's really cute. Okay, so have you noticed, and everybody listening, has anybody noticed that different animals, like I have different animals obviously than you do, around you or where you guys live, but have you noticed that they're acting differently? Like that, it's like they're different. I can't explain it. They're doing different things. I don't know if it's because of the planet or what, but it's like, they have no fear.
Animals are super sensitive to frequency, and the frequency of the earth is currently in transition, changing completely. So yeah, they're going to be acting different. They're going to be acting weird.
I just find it really interesting because I had some different animals pop in over the past week, and I'm like, wow, like, why are they here? Like, I've never seen them here before. And
that's like when we saw pelicans here in Tennessee last year. We pulled over off the side of the road. It was more pink pelicans I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of them filled the lake, and we were like just standing there for I don't know how long, just staring on, like, what in the world is happening?
And they're bolder. They're actually bolder. They're not afraid of people. Like, well, the ones that come up that are around here all the time, they're not afraid of me anyway, because I really don't get into it with them. But like, I had 2 ravens out here yesterday that were on the front of the house, like in that area, and I walked out, and it was like they started screaming at me. Like, I mean, they saw me and they were screaming at me. Well, I didn't bring out any food. So I was like, oh, yeah, I got a bucket. Hang on, guys. I went in and I got the bucket, because what I do is when I feed the birds their old seed from the day before, I put it in a bucket because there's always stuff they haven't eaten in it. And then I fill the 5-gallon pail, and then I take it out for the birds.
Plus,
right?
Our weather patterns are changing as well. I get them mixed up, the El Nino and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We're changing from one to the other. And I can't remember which one's which. I get that so confused. So
well, right now we've got sun and everything out today, and it's actually, I went out in shorts earlier today to take my trash can down the road, and I mean, it was cold. I'm not going to say I'd stay out there all day like that,
right.
But it didn't bother me. And it's
going to be in the 50s here the rest of the month, and it's December.
Well, I'm not crabbing about it as long as we get through the holidays, because I don't like people driving in crappy weather in Michigan.
Yeah.
It's really bad. But yeah, there's this big change. And Taylor, the last time she was here, her and her friend, we drove into town. They wanted to go to get a bar burger, right? So we were driving in, and we were going down through this stretch of road, and I was like, what the heck is all this? Pine cones, cedar cones. I mean, they covered the road because the trees were up along.
Well, remember a few weeks ago, we talked about that, where I had just watched a documentary thing about the trees and it's random. They can't even, it's not a particular pattern. but the trees know the years that they need to release extra seed, extra pine cones, extra
To
seed.
continue their species.
Right, exactly.
And
And this is one of the years that I'm seeing extreme amounts of acorns.
well, and you know what? I didn't get, there's acorns because I have an oak tree the neighbor has on their property, and usually I can't even walk outside because it's like marbles when they all drop. This year it wasn't, but the cedar trees and the pine trees, I'm like, I said to Taylor, because it was like black. It looked like somebody put a bunch of charcoal, from a barbecue grill out there. I was like, what is that? I said, slow the car down. She goes, what for, Mom? And I'm like, slow it down for a minute. And I opened the door, and it was all huge. I mean, I'm telling you, you could have probably put a forest in your yard if you had planted them, like even a bushel of them. But they were like a city block long. It was, you couldn't even see the road. Yeah. So nature is, that's why I don't listen to the weather. I listen to the nature.
I look to see what the temperatures are so I know how to dress for today. That's about it.
Well, you can't open your door and just stick your head out to do that.
Yeah, but you don't. In Tennessee, no. It'll be 30 degrees in the morning and be 75 in the afternoon.
Well, don't your little people tell you what's going on since you have such a good relationship with them?
No.
Are they running around with little mittens and little hats?
No,
and
they are not. But we have that elf on the shelf in our house somehow this year, and it's getting into all kinds of things, driving me crazy.
I do not like Elf on the Shelf. Neither does our sister Christy. She doesn't like Elf on the Shelf.
This morning it was ziplining from one wall to the tree.
Okay, then. No, if I was there and I saw it, I'd put it in the blender and hit the power button.
I keep telling the boys, if that elf makes too much of a mess, I'm throwing it in the fire.
Yep. Put it like a s'more. Make a s'more and stick it in a s'more. Ooh, that would be a good thing. Yeah, that would be a good thing. Oh,
the thing is with that stupid elf is that wherever you put it, it puts itself. You can't touch it. It has to stay there the entire day.
Under a glass. That's what I like. Under a glass. Just put it under glass. Elf under glass. Like pigeons. Yeah. Elf under glass. Yeah. My mom, I grew up with those dang things before they were like big like they are now. And they actually, their little plastic faces were glued onto the doll itself, right? Because that's how they did things back in the 60s. And my mom had some that was from her mom. They were so
Lord.
Cool. Every year, and when I got older, I would Mom would say, can you grab the ornaments? Let's do the tree, blah, blah, blah. Every time I came with it, I shoved it like under the wrapping paper and stuff. And my mom goes, oh, where are my elves? My elves aren't out, because she used to put them on the lamp in the living room, one on each side. I go, oh no, Mom, didn't see them. She goes, oh, you're just being mean. You just stuffed them somewhere again. They just gave me the creeps. They still do.
Yeah, they're weird. They're weird.
I don't know. But anyway, well, I'm going to cut us short now today, just because it's the holiday season, and Holly and I will actually be back after New Year's. I'm sure she'll be posting stuff, and I know I'll be posting stuff through the holidays.
I'm stuck on the Grinch right now, and I've just sat at my computer making all these Grinch memes, spiritual Grinch memes. One, he's got a whole buttload of crystals. Another one, he's doing yoga poses to align his chakras. So be watching for those every day. I'm cracking up. I don't know if you guys think it's funny, but I find it hilarious.
Well, I am planning to do a midnight prayers Christmas Eve, so that'll be out, and that'll be you're going to watch it and then it's going to disappear, because I'm going to be using music, and Facebook or social media period will say, oh, you can't do that because you're, so it'll be at that moment thing. Yeah. So if you all have things that you want to send prayers up for, inbox me on my business page. I'll take that and add that to the prayer that night. And I'm actually going to dust off Papa Ken, Quiet Hawk, and Mama Moon. I'm going to dust off some of their stuff that they did for that particular show. I know Mama Moon has passed, and it's sad, but they were such a big part of
They were.
Bear Network.
Yeah.
So I'll be honoring that too. But until then, I guess y'all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be safe and be healthy.
We have a full moon the day after Christmas, by the way.
Oh.
Full moon in Cancer.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Mm.
And then we've got solstice on the 21st. So don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I need to do a great solstice meme. Oh, what can I do? Oh, my goodness.
Ask your little things.
I'm going to.
They'll help you.
We'll have a meeting. We'll have a meeting.
They'll put magic dust all around it, and you can make it. Oh my God. All right, guys, we love you and God bless. And like I said, whatever holiday you're celebrating, it doesn't matter. Just enjoy it and pray for peace and for people. And think of other people. Think of the elders. Think of the kids that don't have food and the families that don't have food. And it's not much to do to put up a little prayer or a thought for any of them.
Yeah.
And just kind of do that. And all the people that are caught in the middle of all the conflicts that are going on, remember, we're all blessed. We're very blessed because we're not in the middle of all that. And God bless. And y'all take care. We'll see you next year. Ooh, that's interesting.
Ooh, 2024.
All right, guys. Bless. Talk to you later.
Bye.